Hello YouTube world, MacDaddy1911A1 with the Shade Tree Survivalists, coming to you from Northwest Georgia. And the video you're about to watch is part one of our Philosophy of Survival videos. Uncle Fester and I have been working on this for several weeks now, several months as a matter of fact, and Uncle Fester, I pretty much assigned this to him. If we were a military or a police organization, I'd be considered the commander. I don't really consider it that way, but someone somewhere has to make decisions of what to do. And I understand that Uncle Fester is the deep thinker of the crew. Okay, that's as simple as it gets. He understands better than most people do what drives people to do what they do. To act the way they act, to make the decisions good or bad. A lot of it comes from his study of the Holy Bible, and a lot of it comes from just people watching, so to speak. But anyway, he understands on a much deeper level than most people, and I include myself in that category, of what motivates these folks, and can break it down to where you could explain it to someone. So I pretty much assigned the philosophy videos to him. He sort of felt intimidated by it, but I encouraged him, I pushed him, I threatened him, breaking his pinky toe off and different things of that nature to get him to pull together and do it, because I knew he could. I mean, that's as simple as it gets. I knew he could break it down for us and come up with a philosophy behind what we were trying to do. Now, I mean, it's not rocket science or brain surgery, okay? It's pretty much just laying out a mission statement, okay, is what we're doing here, I suppose. But without delving into a whole bunch of bull and baloney, I'm going to go ahead and read this. I agree with it 100%. We worked on it for a little while, and I hope it's not too boring for you. Okay, part one, the Shade Tree Survivalists Philosophy of Survival. First, I believe, before we can discuss any topic, especially survival, we have to understand worldview and the role it plays in our decision making. Worldview is a set of lenses or filters which we view the world around us. Our worldview is what determines our truth. Our truth is what determines our moral compass. Our moral compass is what determines how we interact with the world around us. What determines our worldview? Our worldview can be traced to three main sources: our own thoughts and observations, what we have been taught by our family and friends, what has been taught as acceptable to us by our community, our society, and our culture. An example of this is in certain Central American and African countries, it is perfectly acceptable behavior for a woman to go around bare-chested. But let a woman try walking down the street in America naked from the waist up and see what happens. How we are shaped in our views of what is right and wrong is where our worldview is most critical. It is what we hold as truth that dictates how we interact with our world, and more importantly, with our fellow human beings. To me, there are two worldviews that we as humans can hold. The first is self-centered. The second is other-centered. Being self-centered is what we do naturally as humans. After all, who do we know better than ourselves? Who do we like more than ourselves also? We naturally put ourselves and our needs ahead of others. This is not something you have to teach any child. Left to their own device, it is what any of us will do. Selfishness is a normal human state and is perhaps, if not the center of human evil, at least close enough to that center to see it from the front porch. Those who are self-centered generally become self-justified in their actions. Talk to any criminal in prison and you will get a host of reasons why it's not their fault that they are where they are at. A rapist will tell you that the woman had it coming to her. If she didn't want to have sex, then why was she dressed like that? A thief will tell you that he was poor and that he just wanted what he had coming to him. Besides, the people he stole from had insurance, right? Even child molesters will try to tell you there is nothing wrong with having sex with a 3-year-old. That it's society that's wrong, and that society is just too puritanical in its thinking. Behind every Hitler, every Stalin, every Mao, every Ted Bundy, every Jeffrey Dahmer, every genocide, homicide, suicide, and every monstrosity in history, at its core, you will find a self-centered worldview at work. Okay, the second worldview does not come naturally to us as humans, at least in the author's experience anyway. To be other-oriented is a worldview that must be taught, worked at, hammered into our very way of thinking. To esteem others ahead of one's own self is the rarest of all deeds, and is also the most applauded. A man who would use another man to shield himself in battle would be considered a coward. Yet a man who would sacrifice his own life to save another man's life would be considered a hero of the first sort. Let me add something in here right quick. In the Bible it says, there is no greater love than for one man to give his life for his friends. And that was Jesus Christ who said that. And that's where that comes from me. And I think for Uncle Fester also. Onward we go. To be other-oriented is perhaps the hardest of all things for us as humans to do. But those who put the needs of others ahead of their own needs will tell you while it is not an easy thing to do, it's one of the most rewarding things they ever did. To be other-oriented has its disadvantages at times. Living in a world full of selfish people who see this kind of person as a doormat or someone to use, abuse, and kick to the curb when you've got all you can get from them makes it an uphill endeavor indeed. To try and have this sort of worldview and live it each day has its own triumphs and tribulations. But be honest. Which would you rather the world was populated with? Self-centered or other-centered people? It is from these two truths we must begin to decide how we will approach our survival goals. But more importantly, it is from these two worldviews we must choose how we will live our day-to-day lives. I believe that you begin to truly find God and the devil in the details. What you believe, in my opinion, is irrelevant. Excuse me. Belief by itself is never enough. It is the starting place, but not the destination. If you believe in being other-oriented, but are self-centered in your actions, then what are you really? The old saying, actions speak louder than words, may be a cliche, but it doesn't make it any less true. If we truly believe something, we will act upon it. If not, then it becomes just a good intention. To quote another old saying, the road to hell is paved with good intentions, which means simply that if you believe that 95 South will get you to Miami, even if you know 95 South will eventually get you to Miami, and you say Miami is your destination, it does you no good if you are on US 40 headed west. The direction of your actions are not carrying you towards the destination of your lips. If God deals only in black and white, then it is us, humans, and the devil that are always trying to deal in the great in-between. Nowhere is this more true than in the element of survival. It is very easy to get self-centered very quickly as we enter into the arena of life and death decisions. Here, ethics and morals can get blurred in an instant. The minute you enter a without rule of law situation, the thin veneer of civilization is discarded from the human visage, and the ugly savage underneath rears its ugly head. Don't believe me? Right here on YouTube, type in "right" and see for yourself. Civilization as we know and understand it is as fragile as an egg. It can be broken without, it can be broken from within, or simply destroyed by the slip of the hand and dropped to the floor below. Police are police because we allow them to be. The government governs because we allow them to. The minute that the majority of people decide they don't want to be governed, chaos ensues and the insane rule the asylum. Survival means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. There is no one size fits all survival guide, and there is no way to try and prepare for every contingency. You will go broke and crazy trying to be ready for everything that could possibly go wrong. We are not trying to seek out and head off every what if that exists out there, but rather we are trying to train ourselves and prepare ourselves with skills that can be useful in times of rule of law and without rule of law. To acquire a set of basic skills that can give us enough self-sufficiency to be able to take care of ourselves and others if the basic infrastructure of our society breaks down, be it in times of natural or man-made disasters or in times of civil unrest. In gaining these skills, it is our hope and indeed our desire to preserve human life, because we hold human life to be sacred, to preserve and to protect it at all costs, and for life to be taken only as an act of last resort. To try and always uphold human dignity in times of desperation, for it is only in the setting aside of differences and coming together in unity during times of great need that we supersede our mortal limitations and catch a glimpse of the true nature that we have all fallen from. It is from this viewpoint that we will try and approach survival in our further philosophy videos and in the skill sets that we test, learn, and present here. I thought that he did a great job writing this. I hope that some way, shape, or form you can appreciate it, understand what we're trying to do here, and maybe we can all learn from each other, pass what we learn on to others, and learn from others. It is my hope, Mac Daddy 1911A1. It is Uncle Fester's hope, and Kimo's hope, and our buddy Daniel's hope that our statue, as we like to call him, it is our earnest hope that in times where there's this disaster or whatever, that all of us can pull together as human beings, as Americans, as Georgians, or whatever the case may be, to help each other out, to take care of each other until either professional help arrives or the situation is taken care of to a satisfactory conclusion. This is Mac Daddy 1911A1 with the Shade Tree Survivalists. We're hoping that you enjoyed this video and that you'll tune in for part 2 when I finally get around to making it. Y'all have a good day.